Hello, welcome back to the Fish Locker Workshop. I'm going to talk you through a reel that I use a lot, and it's the Abu Cardinal and it's the 176swi. Now you'll have seen it in pretty much all of my videos. I use it on the shore, I use it saltwater, freshwater, I use it on the boat. Oh, easy tiger. This is the reel. Now, the reason why I'm reviewing this and the reason why I recommend this, depending on which way you look at it, when you're using reels in a saltwater environment, you have to almost consider them as being part of your terminal tackle. They only have a shelf life. Unless you're going to spend mega money and get something that's top end, like some of the great Shimano's or some of the sealed pen reels, which you're going to be paying like upwards of over 150 quid for. These are between like 35 and 45 quid. Now, I generally look at it as I'm going to have maybe 3 to 4 years use out of one before it's time to retire it. Now I have one that's attached to this rod here. This is its 4th season. This one's 2 seasons old, this one's last season's, and I've just got a new one, so I'll be able to show you the whole range. Now they do work well. Now I've caught cracking fish on them. Freshwater, I've had double figure pike, some fantastic carp. They're light enough that you can catch the small stuff on. I've fished them at sea. I've had conger reels on them. I've had fantastic bass. I use it for lure fishing. I use it for bait fishing. I use it on the shore for light stuff. I use them in the estuaries for bass and bream and flounders. They are great all round reels, and don't get me wrong, if you put one next to one that costs 150 quid, you will be able to see the difference immediately. But for what you pay, for what I use, for how robust I need them to be, I think they're cracking. I mean, if you look at getting 4 years out of a reel, it's cost you 40 quid, and if you use it 10 times a year, that's a quid a time. I mean, I put mine through a lot as well. If you're one of these people that only goes fishing a couple of times a year, they'll last you 6, 7, 8 years. There's not much to say about them. The handles, you can back it off with that. When I put them in my bag, I always collapse the handle down just because it takes up less space. But if you don't like having left hand wind, all you do is back it out like that. Take your handle out, put it in the opposite side, and tighten this back in again. So it can be left or right hand wind. They come with, this is one brand new in the box. I've only just had this delivered the other day. And you can see as it comes, they always come with a spare spool. And these are like, I don't know, these are graphite or carbon. All I do is I have them all rigged up for braid, fishing on the boat. Like that. I think this is £25 braid. That's some cheap. I think that's Spectre or Age Pock. You can see the difference in diameter straight away, can't you? There's one with a leader on, and on the spare spools, all I do is I just have light mono. I think this is 10 and this is 8. So when I want to go coarse fishing, all I simply do is I just take one of the spools, you just unwind the top, put one of your mono spools on, and you're ready to go. Now these are what's called a top drag, which means that you can see here, you tighten the drag by turning that. See? There. So you tighten the drag up on the top. There's really not much to them. One of the things that I will say that are absolutely crucial, as with most reels, is you can probably see a little Teflon washer and a cog on there, on this spindle. you need to be really careful that you don't lose those. When you're taking these spools on and off, sometimes they stick on the inside of there. And if you drop it on the beach, you'll never find it again and your reel's knackered. I'll show you the differences here. This is one, like I said, it's 4 years old. And listen to the sound of it. Now, although this is a 176swi, the SW is supposed to say saltwater, so they're designed for saltwater environments. Nothing really is designed to survive in a saltwater environment very well. So they do go. Like I say, that one is 4 years old, that one is 2. You hear the difference? That, 2. If I took this one out and wound this one would be almost silent because it's brand new. All I do when I bring them home from a session is I'll break the legs off like that, take the handle out, take the spool off, give it a quick squirt of WD-40 around there, give it a quick wind and then leave it. There's not much to them. You can take them apart, but I would only ever do that if I got a load of sand in one, because all the components other than like the shaft and a couple of the screws and that are plastic. And if you're tightening and slackening screws into plastic, they will give eventually. You'll have to tighten it a little bit more each time until eventually the threads break, and then your reel's knackered for now. There. You've also got a back wind setting there. See? The smaller version, I have tried them in other sizes. Like this is a 304. So you can see there the difference between a 176 and a 304. See the slightly smaller? This one, I've had this one for 6 years. But this one I only ever used for mullet or coarse fishing. Just because it's lighter. And it's still perfectly fine. I use them for everything. I mean, I've had conger eels on them. Ideally, I wasn't targeting conger eels, but I've landed them on it. They've got a real good drag. I can cast a lure, cast a heavy enough lure, 100 yards with them. They are decent reels. And like I say, you can get a full loaded spool. What's it saying now? If you go by thickness, 0.28 mil, you get 330 yards on there. Well, this is 0.3. I've got 300 yards of 25 pound braid. Now I like that braid because if I'm fishing lures over kelp, if you go any lighter, quite often you snap off, like you lose your lure. Whereas if you've got that little bit of extra strength in the braid, you can often pull the seaweed out at the stalk. There's not much more to say about. All right, the things that go on them, the bad things about them. I've never had a foot snap. But occasionally these handles, they do seize. I think this is one of them. Where even when you back this out, you can't collapse this, look. That just means that it's seized inside. It's got some salt water inside and it doesn't want to move. But also, I don't know if you can see, if you look at this part here, when the line comes over your spool, this piece is supposed to spin. That little recessed piece inside of there spins. If you don't wash it out, or if you get some salt or some grit in there, that'll stick and it'll damage your line. But not only when it sticks, you will get salt behind there. And if I can show you with this one, can you see where the plastic has cracked? Just there. That is because salt has got behind the metal, and as it's dried and it's formed, it's like ice breaking a pipe. These new ones, you can see they haven't got it. But that's one of the things that goes. That is usually the first thing to go. And then after that, once it's completely broken, the reel's knackered. But one of the good things about it, I have lots of spare spools now, because over the years when I've retired a reel, the spools are still perfect. The only thing that generally goes is your little line clip goes on them. And I think I've just had to throw the first one of those away, but I've been having them for years. I think they're cracking. You can buy them online for, like I say, between 35 and 45 quid. There are other sizes available. There's like a a 170, a 174, 176, a 304. I like the 176 for my fishing. And they've got a real smooth drag. You're just basic. You get what you pay for. But when you consider it as being a piece of terminal tackle, you don't want much else. You can get them. You can get them pretty much anywhere. I get most of mine either online from Jerry's, or I get mine just anywhere on eBay that's selling them. And that is a Abu Cardinal 176swi. I hope this helps.